episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Aaron.
I'm Eric.
And howdy, it's RJ. Today, we are going to be talking about all the new things Magic has announced over the past week. But first, let's talk about our signature card.
Yes, every episode of the Planeswalkers Pub will feature a signature card that may or may not relate to the episode's topic. But first, take a minute to actually hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This way you'll stay up to date on all the newest episodes.
And make sure to follow our Twitter and like and retweet.
Today's signature card is Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish is a sorcery that costs 3 and a green, and states return 2 cards at random from your graveyard to your hand. In Gavany, wishing is taken as a sign of weakness, yet the wells usually brim with silver.
So what decks can or should this go in?
Pretty much anything? I mean,
If you have an open
It
slot, stick it
can
there.
go into anything, but I don't think it should. I originally thought this card was a lot better than it was, but then I got to the at random bit, and that really hurts its replayability.
that's true, but if you're thinking about like maybe a dredge deck or something like that, where you're naturally throwing a bunch of stuff in there anyway, you don't really care what you're getting back, that could be these.
Well, if you're dredging, that means you're digging for a combo piece. Randomness does not let you get your combo piece. E-Witness or Reclaim are much more reliable versions of this card.
True. There's better versions of this card, but if your green's in your deck and you have an open spot, this is a good thing to slip in. It's like, oh shoot, I lost X and Y and a couple other things. Let's see what I get back. I like randomness.
What was the CMC again?
3 and a green.
And you lose it, but you get 2 cards back. I mean, that's not a bad exchange.
I like the fact that it says card. Like, you can grab land, you can grab that sorcery or something in that sense. Like, if you can manage to copy this or fork it or some other way, that would actually be really decent.
4 cards,
But
yeah.
forking a green spell, that's...
But a Gruul deck that runs fork?
Go decks aren't really spell singers, so
No.
I think we're kind of stretching the playability of
Yeah.
this card.
Just a tiny bit. Let's jump over to our main topic, which is talking about Throne of Eldraine, which is the newest set, which is coming out. It's amazing. It looks amazing. We were originally going to talk about a bunch of the spoilers that have just recently come out. However, there's a whole nother week worth of spoilers, and we don't like jumping in spoilers season midway through to talk about a few cards, and then having a bunch of other cards that are just better.
You mean that thing we totally did last set?
I don't want to mention that, but yes, I think we totally did last set.
We can learn from our mistakes, guys.
RJ
we
wasn't
though?
here.
Can we?
So we're going to be talking about the new mechanics, the Planeswalkers, the new legendaries from the Brawl deck, the future sets that were spoiled, and the new pack system. There will be timestamps linked in the description if you want to skip to a particular section, or you can watch the whole episode.
So let's actually jump over to the newest mechanics that are going to be inside of Throne of Eldraine.
The adventure mechanic is the newest mechanic coming to Throne of Eldraine and works kind of like the split mechanic from Amonkhet. So let's talk about Animating Fairy. Animating Fairy is a fairy, big surprise, for 2 and a blue. It's a 2/2 flyer. The weird part is if you look a little to the left, it says Bring to Life for 2 and a blue. It's a sorcery adventure. Target non-creature artifact becomes a 0/0 artifact creature, and you put 4+1/+1 counters on it. So the way this works is you can choose, rather than casting Animating Fairy, to bring to life. So you turn a non-creature artifact into a 4/4, and then you exile Animating Fairy. Then later, you can cast Animating Fairy from exile as a 2/2 flyer. It gives you 2 uses out of a single card. It's kind of cool.
It's very important that while you're actually casting the sorcery portion of this, if the sorcery becomes countered, you're not then able to then cast a creature. The way that kind of works is you cast a sorcery, it then becomes countered, that just, counter spell or whatever. The entire card at that point will then go to the graveyard, which kind of sucks. If you have a reanimate or something like that, you can bring back the creature, but you can't bring back the actual sorcery itself. Or you can just straight cast the 2 in the blue for the creature itself. You got 2/2 flyer, which is decent.
Returning the
but
creature
a
from
2/2
graveyard.
flyer for 2 and a blue isn't really good value. But you're probably playing this in Fairy Tribal, so
Yeah.
it could be well worth it.
Technically, if you return the creature from the graveyard to your hand, you can then cast it for the adventure.
Yes.
Yes, you
That
could.
is very, very true, because once again, it goes back into your hand. One thing I really like about this, I mean, obviously, we're Commander players, we don't really care that much about Standard, but in Standard, Leyline of the Void is a very powerful card, because any card that you cast will then go to the graveyard, it'll go exiled instead. With this, you're casting it, it's never touching the graveyard if you're casting it as a sorcery. And it's never actually touching the graveyard, it's always just going straight into exile. It's a kind of nice little thing that Wizards is doing now, because the exile zone isn't really a used zone that often.
It's supposed to be outside of the game.
Yeah.
It's supposed to say, because the old card said removed from play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just supposed to be, okay, these are out of the game, you don't have to worry about them again. But now they're pulling from exile.
But I definitely like this new mechanic. It changes how the game is played because you always have a secondary option. A lot of people hate the fact of like, oh, I'm going to cast this really big spell or something like that, says it just gets blown out or gets countered, and you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about that now. Or you cast this big spell, it's only like a one-off type effect. With this, you still have a creature in the wings that you're just like, no cards in hand or whatever. Oh, I've got like these 4 things in exile. Let me just cast these guys.
I do like the mechanic, but I do have a little bit of apprehension towards it because I think it's definitely an example of power creep. Because the exile is supposed to be the zone that no one comes back from.
Yeah.
Other than really niche cards like Rift Sweeper.
Squee!
But
Yeah,
putting
squee.
an entire mechanic revolving around bringing cards from the exile into play is a little worrying because people already have a problem with the graveyard and people reanimating massive creatures and effects from there. If that effect starts applying the exile zone as well, it could mean that the power ceiling is just going to go up and up and up.
Yeah.
And Magic could break itself.
The only-
And because it bears mentioning, Leyline of Anticipation is in Standard, so you can flash these guys out from exile if you have the mana for it.
Yeah. The only downside I feel like with Commander is like, Path to Exile, for instance, where it just exiles it. You're just like questioning, okay, did I cast that for its sorcery? Did I cast it for the creature? But I feel like that's at the time of happening, everyone will just think about it, and then we'll all just kind of agree on something.
So the next mechanic is food.
I like food.
Food is kind of like a clue token. You pay 2 and sacrifice it, although instead of drawing a card, you gain 3 life. Now, the card that immediately came to mind was a Johnny's Pride Mate.
Oh no.
Oh,
Just-
yes.
Just a Pride Mate food deck?
And a
here's the-
Johnny's Welcome. Life gain decks or life as a weapon decks, which are really, really popular in Standard, are going to get a huge boost from the food mechanic.
I'm not really a fan of this token, however, because unlike clue tokens where you're paying 2 to draw a card, that's legit card advantage that you just have on the table. Gaining 3 life, especially in Commander, we start off at 40. We rarely ever care about 3 life.
Yeah,
Particularly. And you would have to sack, 3 of these in order to actually make it serious?
and that's 6 mana.
You could be casting anything else, everything else.
So, obviously the only way to release this in Commander is to break it. Create infinite food tokens, gain infinite life, win with the Flux Reservoir.
Or even
Feldar
just-
Sovereign if you're feeling spicy.
Or even just like Brutaclad, just have something that creates food,
Brutaclad.
have something that creates food tokens on a stick, and then just have Brutaclad keep turning your guys the food tokens into like the 3 ones or something like that.
I take your turn
Yeah.
and I turn all your tokens into food.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Depending on what kind of food generators come out, it might be worth putting in Brutical.
Technically, with Urza, these all become mana rocks.
Although depending on how fast they are, I don't think food generators will even make it in an Urza deck. But
Well, it won't actually work in the Urza deck, but there is a food generator that I know about. It is Gilded Goose. It is 1 green for a creature bird. It's a 0/2. It has flying, and when it enters a battlefield, create a food token. And then you can pay 1 in a green to tap it to create a food token. Or you can tap it, sacrifice a food token, add a mana to your mana pool equal to any color.
So it's able to turn food tokens into treasure tokens.
Basically, or it's kind of one of those things where it's like a weird Birds of Paradise because it's only...
It is kind of like a weird Birds of Paradise, isn't it?
Yeah,
Turns
and
food
because
into
it
mana.
itself has to tap to sacrifice the food in order to turn into a color. So it's a second hoop you gotta jump through for birds.
Yeah. Well, I don't think birds will ever see Standard plays. This is probably the closest they're ever going to get. The new mechanic in the set is Adamant. If you cast a spell with 3 or more of the same color, you get an additional effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like Addendum a little bit, where Addendum said if you cast it on your turn, you get this cool effect. With Adamant, you can cast it all with one particular color or 3 or more of that particular color. It's good in monocolor decks. The additional effect isn't entirely broken.
Yeah.
It's usually just gives it 1 additional plus, like, hey, maybe you get additional plus on counter, or hey, maybe it gets lifelink this turn, or...
I know one of the red ones spoiled today was deals 5 damage to target creature, and if you paid 3 or more red mana to do it, it deals 3 damage to that creature's controller.
Yeah, but there's also a spell that already does that. I don't really know if it's going to matter as much. It's just an additional thing you have to think about while tapping your mana.
From what I've seen, all the examples of Addendum, you'd probably run in monocolor decks anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just rewarding you for playing a way you would normally play. But when you start mixing up the colors and dual, triple, or even quad decks, it starts to get hard to reach that.
Next segment that we're going to talk about is the Planeswalkers we actually know about and that actually have been released so far. Obviously, with the Planeswalkers pub, you guys saw this coming, so let's just talk about them. So, if you actually saw the trailer, which is going to be linked in the description below, we know that Garruk is coming back, which is going to be amazing.
Woo! Still cursed by Liliana.
Apparently.
So let's talk about Garruk. Garruk has his actual newest card, which is Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. It is for a black and a green. For a legendary Planeswalker Garruk, comes in with 5 loyalty. 0 creates 2/2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens. Tokens look awesome. Here they are on screen. With this creature, when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control. I'm going to stop right there. It says each Garruk you control. That does not mean just this
5. One wolf dies, you get a counter on all of them.
Yes. So all of your Garruk Planeswalkers all will get a counter from this, which is dope. It basically is kind of like a, hey, here's a Garruk tribal that no one asked for, but if you want to build it, there you go.
You can't make Garruk tribal because Garruk doesn't have a flip version.
No, he doesn't. Anyway,
Rip.
his -3 is destroy target creature, then draw a card. So, you know, the standard Vraska, murder or something. That's how black does things.
Of course, Vraska's better because that's permanent, but...
That's true. But Vraska doesn't draw your card. And then also to his -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +3/+3 and have trample. So it has a very Elspethy feel to it, where you're kind of ramping up to the emblem. The problem is...
You can't actually ramp up to the emblem because he doesn't have a +1. But he does have bodyguard. Lots and lots of bodyguards.
Yes, which is fantastic. The cool thing about this, a lot of people are actually speculating, you basically just zero him maybe like 2 or 3 turns or so, and then on the 4th turn you basically just board wipe, and that'll kill all of your wolves, which at this point you've got, what, 4 wolves or something? That instantly brings them up to like, you know, over 6.
Yeah.
Minus him, you get the actual emblem, and then just do it all over again. It's decent. I actually kind of like it. I'm not really the hugest fan of, well, A, 6-mana Planeswalkers, and B, Planeswalkers don't plus, because it puts you in a really huge bind.
Well, he's a mythic and not a Planeswalker deck Planeswalker, so the 6 mana is actually worth it to cast.
That's true. Plus, the fact that you drop him down, you instantly get 2/2/2s. That's decent.
That's good. Or get rid of a problematic creature.
Yeah, that's also nice. Like, you know, everyone needs, like, you know, that nice, cool murder. Just occasionally. Plus, you get to draw a card from it. But that's...
Yeah, that's really... If it was just the -3, destroy target creature, that would not be worth it.
Yeah, but the fact that you actually get to draw a card, too, is, once again, card advantage we've always talked about, and we just love it.
And, of course, you can always use the altars to get rid of those wolves early. So then we have Oko. So, he's Oko the Trickster. 4 and Simic. 1 green and 1 blue. Legendary Planeswalker, Oko. His +1, he comes out with 4 loyalty, and his +1 is put 2 1/1 counters up to 1 target creature you control. His 0 is until end of the turn, he becomes a copy of target creature you control. Prevent all damage that be dealt to him this turn. -7, until end of the turn, each creature you control has base power and toughness 10/10 and gains trample.
So this guy's a lot.
Yeah. You know, it's fun to rag on the Planeswalker deck, Planeswalkers, because as Mark Rosewater has admitted in the past, they're intentionally designed to be bad. But occasionally, very occasionally,
something slips through the net.
Is just not great, just okay enough to see some play. I think this one is definitely okay enough to see some play.
And
maybe not in standard, but definitely in EDH.
And maybe mainly because of that 0 ability, where he can basically just become a copy of target creature you control. Prevents all damage from that creature that he'll be dealt is relevant as well. But the point is, you can turn this into like your best creature, the biggest flyer on the field, on your side of the field, or something like that. So sort of like, you know, or just another value creature who can then tap him to do other things or attack for big damage, something like that sense.
Or utility creature. You can pay mana into it to activate its ability. Cloning is broken. I mean, let's just get that out there right now.
Yeah.
Being able to copy your own creature, especially in a singleton format like Commander, is incredibly powerful.
We can break it, because we're Commander players, we can break it.
The +1 isn't bad either. 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature.
Yeah.
That's good. And the ultimate, which is...
All
you have
your
to wait
stuff.
3 turns to get to it.
Yeah, but the
in
point
those
is...
3 turns, your buffing a bodyguard. So I think that's very doable, actually.
Not even that, but wording is very, very important. It says each creature you control has base power and toughness 10/10. Base power and toughness means that if all the +1/+1 counters you might have on top of it, that is 10/10 plus those. Any anthem effects, 10/10 plus those.
Squirrel tribal with this guy. You make all your squirrels 10/10s, and they get +1/+1 from the Hermit.
They'll be able to kill Emrakul at that point, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
base power is so powerful because we naturally have a bunch of anthem effects that we don't even notice. Like, oh, this is like, a merfolk tribal. All my merfolks get like, +3/+3 because of these guys. Now they're +13 basically.
So this guy can be a big. We're probably making him sound better than he actually is, but you gotta look at the potential of a card, and I think he definitely has it. Now let's look at his pack version. Oko, the Thief of Crowns. 1, a green and a blue. So literally half the cost of his Planeswalker deck version. He comes out with 4 loyalty. +2, create a food token. +2. That's pretty relevant.
Yep.
I like food.
And +1, target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. So if you ever just want to turn someone's commander off, because you can just turn someone's commander off with this.
So this is basically a Kasmina's transmutation. Literally,
Imprisoned in the Moon,
Imprisoned-
Darksteel Mutation,
this is-
Song of the Dryads, the
this
Tree
is-
Folk one.
This is permanent.
Yes.
Guys, this is permanently a +1. And it's a plus. That's what makes it so broken, because if it was
It
a
is a-
minus, that'd be one thing. This is a plus. He's only getting stronger when he does this.
Uh-huh.
Just permanently says, hey, that Ur-Dragon, it's an elk. Hey, that Sliver, it's an elk. Hey, your Theft Queen, she's an elk.
Don't
That's-
have any good creatures? Oh, your Soul Ring's an elk.
Most of the time, it's like, okay, well, I just imprison the moon, so I can still tap for mana. Or I turn your Soul Ring into this, or whatever. I can still tap for mana, or I can still do this. Like, I can still block it. He just turns it into an elk.
Yeah.
Like, he comes out for 3 mana. That's gross. Oh, by the way, he has an ultimate.
Yeah. -5, exchange control of target artifact or creature you control, and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. So you're supposed to take their elks and give them
Your
something
food
you
tokens?
have?
Or not even that. Like, you take...
Yeah.
You give them your food token, you take their Birds of Paradise. You
Which
give
is
them...
an elk. Oh, yeah.
Well, no, you're not going to turn the Birds of Paradise into an elk. Why bother? Because you're going to steal it in a second.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you take... it. Granted, it says power 3 or less, which does...
Limit its use.
does
but
limit
there are a
its
lot of
use.
utility creatures.
Yeah.
All mana dorks are,
Basically 3 or less. All
Yeah.
the good ones anyway. Like, a lot of... Next time you're playing EDH, around, like, turn 5-ish, just glance around the table. See how many cards legitimately, creature-wise, are 3 or less power. There's going to
You
be a
can
lot
steal.
of them that you can just steal with his ability. The reason why he's getting played in every EDH deck that's in those colors from now to the end of time until he gets banned
is the elk ability.
is the elk effect. Just
Yeah.
taking out someone's commander is
It's
more
devastating.
powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. Worse for wear is you can turn to the elk and then not kill it. Just leave it alive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's beautiful because you turn into an elk. They're like, okay, now I gotta freaking kill this thing. Okay, well, let's swap out elks or whatever. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna attack you with my elk commander. You're gonna attack me with your elk commander. Boom, we can swap, we can trade, put them back to command zone. But as long as he's on the field, you're thinking in the back of your head, can I really recast my commander and pass the turn? Because he's gonna turn back to an elk.
Yeah. Which means Oko here, at least the Thief of Crown version, is definitely a kill on sight.
Well, much like his name, Thief of Crown, he's going to the theft deck as soon as I pack him. So that's happening. So sorry, boys, but that's happening.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. It won't.
That's happening. I can't deny that's happening.
Finally, Rowan,
Best sight in the world.
Fearless Spark Mage, costs 3 and 2 red, legendary planeswalker, starts with 5 loyalty for 6. +1, up to 1 target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. -2, it deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures.
That's pretty bad.
Those creatures can't block this turn.
That's still pretty bad.
I don't know. Like you're pinging the 2 biggest things. This way they can't block. That can go in for lethal occasionally.
Yeah.
The -9 is just Insurrect. It says gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste until end of turn. It's a -9.
They put Insurrect
She
on a
starts at
Planeswalker?
5.
She starts at 5. She only has a +1. It takes 4 turns to hit this.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they put it
Unlike
separate on
Oko's Planeswalker deck version,
Much better.
I would avoid that one.
Definitely. I mean, it could go in my combat deck. There's better things out there.
Sorry, Rowan.
Yeah,
Your
sorry.
Battle Bond version is way better.
Next, the Royal Scions. This is 2 whole people and cost half as much.
2 whole people.
2 whole people.
It costs half as much, which makes sense because the Rowan twins are A, twins, and B, they actually share a spark between them. So Will has half a spark, Rowan has the other half of the spark, which is kind of cool that they're the first ever double Planeswalkers on one card.
Gee, Rowan, and well, why does WotC let you have a spark each?
But the Royal Scions cost 1, a blue, and a red. The legendary Planeswalker, Will Rowan. Oh, the loyalty, it's 5. It's the same as the Rowan Planeswalker for half the mana. +1 says draw a card, then discard a card. That's not
Looting's
bad.
good.
Looting's
Or
good.
rummaging, whatever the effect is colloquially known as.
+1, its second +1 is target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn.
So it's
trample's
literally better than her Planeswalker deck version.
Then the -8, draw 4 cards. When you do, the Royal Scions deal damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. Garbage.
Garbage.
I mean, I like...
You keep around for the looting or the creature pump. Her alt, quotation marks around alt, is just a big fireball. 2/1. Any target or creature?
Any target.
So
Yeah,
you
but
draw 4 cards.
You're also an Izzet. So Izzet likes to just kind of like, Niv Mizzets, Locust God, we've mentioned this before. They like to basically just dawdle around, draw a bunch of cards anyway. There's a good chance that this doesn't pilot its own deck, but it definitely can go into something like that.
Yeah.
I like it the fact of, and it makes sense flavor-wise of why this is technically a stronger card than her by herself, because once again, they share a spark. So when they're next to each other, their full spark is united type deal versus half the power for double the effort. Next, we're actually going to be talking about the pack system. So Wizards actually came out with an announcement with Jimmy Wong, Mark Rosewater, and some other chick, which I currently don't remember her name. Her name's up on the screen right now. Apologies. But they mentioned the actual newer pack system. So they're kind of changing the way that stuff is working, and they're starting that in Throne of Eldraine. Let me actually just go ahead and talk about this right now, and some pictures are going to show up on screen if I actually can find them. Okay, so the new pack system is like this. They're going to be making draft packs. Draft packs are basically the exact same packs that we normally buy. Let's just take Mono Horizons, for instance. It's a standard 15 cards that you would normally buy. Nothing's changing with that pack. It's just being renamed as just a draft pack for no other reason than just, we need a name for it, I guess.
At least now you know not to buy these packs to try and crack them for good cards.
Those are going to have the same 15 cards that you're used to and everything in that sense. Like, commons, rares, uncommons, yada, yada, yada. The next thing that they're actually adding is theme booster packs. These packs are going to be themed around the particular set as well as the theme of the actual set. For Throne of Eldraine, the theme of this set is actually colors. It's like, red, blue, green, the standard color pie and everything in that sense. These theme booster packs come in 35 packs, or 35 cards inside of one actual pack. Note that when you buy, let's say, the blue one, for instance, you're only going to open up blue cards. Unlike the other theme packs, which like, the Orzhov pack or the Izzet pack or something like that.
The guild kits.
We don't 100% know if those are being taken away. We're assuming that they are in order for these theme packs to kind of just thrive and everything like that.
The theme packs already exist, though. They did for Guilds of Ravnica and Ravnica Allegiance.
But now they're actually themed around the particular set itself, not just hey, here's a guild.
Well,
You
that's
can't do the
with
guilds when
colors.
we're not on Ravnica.
Exactly.
But this was just around color combinations. Now this one's just monocolored.
Exactly, but also too, it's about themed as well. So let's say that we're going to eventually go to a monster theme set. Maybe they're going to be like, this is a theme pack based around all just the sea creature monsters. This is a theme pack about all the mountain monsters. Like, they open themselves up to just not just colors, which is kind of nice.
The Theros theme booster will be like one's based on Perforos.
Yeah.
And the other one's based around Iros.
Something like that, that's the theme of the set, so in theory it should be working in that sense. I like it because it's 35 cards, which is nice because I always like to have more cards anyway. That's just me personally. I also like to have fancy and bling for my stuff. So the last thing that I actually mentioned is the actual collector booster packs. These packs have the alternate arts. Those are going to be up on screen right now. There are going to be a bunch of different alternate arts. There's also going to be full art Planeswalkers, or not full art, but extended art Planeswalker borderless and stuff like that. Up
Like
on
the
screen,
box toppers from Horizons?
yes. Up on screen right now are actually the two different versions of the Garrick that we just mentioned. 2 different versions of the actual first card that we meant. That is not how
Okay.
2 different versions of the actual card I mentioned for the adventure mechanic. These look dope. These look
They
really,
really
really,
do.
really, really cool.
I'm the naysayer, I guess. I'm not that excited about it. I thought they looked cool at first, and then I'm like, because it's going to be expensive for them, and I'm not going to want to pay it.
I mean, it's the same. Well, here's the thing. Speaking of expenses, currently, as of recording, I will put up on screen the prices if there actually are any, and when it comes to actually editing. If not, I'm just saying no. Just because currently there's actually no MSRP for any of these actual products. Wizards has kind of gone on record saying that they don't personally like giving MSRPs because then it messes around with the secondary market because people are just kind of pre-buying stuff earlier in order to make sure that it doesn't actually go up or down or yada, yada, yada.
I bought the Gideon spell kit. I pre-ordered the Gideon spell book for I think $30, and then when it actually came out, it was selling for $25. I'm like, this is a ripoff.
Yeah.
I spent $5 more for no reason.
I just want to mention really quickly a good example of the examples have actually been on screen right now currently of just the collectors, but this is a cool example right here is Hypnotic Sprite. It's a blue for a 2/1 fairy with flying. Or you can pay the adventure cost, which is 2 and a blue, and then counter target spell with converted mana cost 3 or less. So that's a cool counter spell in general. The regular version is decent. You know, it looks kind of cool and everything in that sense. However, the actual alternate art version
Looks sick.
looks sick.
Okay. See, I was expecting just the weird looking border and the same art.
No. Different arts, different border, and it looks dope. Like, it really looks cool.
Yeah. And he's an uncommon. That's
Yeah.
not going to be expensive.
It's not. And the cool thing is, that's the cool thing about this collector pack itself, is that you're getting basically the exact same cards, except they're alternate art, alternate borders. They look a lot cooler. Me personally, and it is also it's the same 15 card pack as well. So, yes, the draft booster pack and the collector pack are not going to be the same price. That's obvious. Hopefully, there may be only $2 or $3.
apart.
Yeah, or $5 most apart. In which case, I'm just strictly buying collector's boosters for now to the end of time. Because
I dropped $10 on this.
Yeah.
For a treat, but I want to make a regular habit of it.
I mean, here's my theory is this. You're buying cards anyway. If you're going to be cracking packs, you're cracking them in order to actually get the cards you want anyway. Why not just crack the collectible box?
I guess,
collectible
yeah.
packs? They're the same
I
principle.
crack packs to love to smell the wrappers.
Exactly. So just crack a collectible one. This way you get the better version. You get the better art of it. Plus, once again, the art just looks sick.
And if you're lucky to crack one of the Planeswalkers, you're in the money.
Do I like that Wizards is technically doing this? Not particularly.
Why not? It's aesthetics. You don't have to buy it.
That's
and
true.
they offer the regular versions at the regular price. I'm fine with increased prices for aesthetics. I'm not fine with increased prices of you have to have this card or you do not get to play the game.
Yes.
Lands in EDH.
There is also stuff that some cards will just be borderless. For instance, Wallborn Preserver. It's 1 in the green for a creature elf. It's 2/2, has flash and reach. And when another non-human creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X. When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on this actual creature, which is dope. There is
pretty strong.
It is actually very strong. There is also that version. Then there's also the borderless version, which kind of looks like the masterpiece versions or the box topper versions for the most part. This I'm less okay with because it has the exact same art. It's just changing the border.
It's doing the same alters that people have been doing for years.
Yes.
I still like it.
Like
If I had I'm probably not going to ever play this card, but if I ever did and I ever had a choice, I'd definitely choose the borderless version.
Yeah, it's very important to note that you can still buy the regular draft one. They're not forcing anyone to buy the collectibles or anything in that sense. The collectible pieces will most likely be a little bit more expensive, but it's the same principle like people getting foils. Which reminds me, they did mention that there will no longer be foils in the draft packs.
Wait a minute, what?
You cannot get foils in the draft. Now,
That's
if
lame.
this has changed, I'm going to be doing a lot of research in the midst of editing everything else. If this has changed, there's going to be a giant no on the screen and explanation. But from what Mark said, there are no longer going to be foils in the actual regular booster packs because they're now in the collectible.
That is some bull right there. They took something that they've offered for how long with the regular product, and now they're going to take out and put in a different one. When is it going to be where now Mythic Rarity is no longer in this set. It's now only in this set. You get mythics. Like
That I don't know about, but they're, as far as I'm aware,
Slippery
that's the only thing that they're actually changing, is that they're changing the name of it to draft packs, as well as taking out the foils. The same, like, mythic, rare, uncommon stuff, that's all going to be still in the same pack and everything. In that sense, it's just the fact that they're changing it to the collectibles pack as well.
oh, why fix the paper quality? Just take them out of the regular booster packs.
Well,
That's so.
The hope is
silly.
that because they're putting it in the collectibles thing and everything, in that sense, they actually are going to fix that issue, hopefully, maybe, potentially. We don't know. Obviously, Mark isn't going to just say, yes, we did this and X, Y, and Z.
Let's also fix the value problem, like cost
Yes.
of entry.
If you're going to be gambling with these packs anyway, you might as well gamble for something that you know you're going to get. To quote the professor from Tolarian Community College a little bit, don't buy something if you don't know what you're going to get inside of it. Having these collectible boosters guarantees 100%, hey, this is what you're getting. You're getting this style, quality, and everything. That's even if it's just the extended border of a card you might or may not use, it's still something that's better than the person across the street from you. We mentioned before with the Mono Horizons, the Snowlands. People use the Mono Horizons lands over the original Snowlands. Why is that?
Because they're
The
full
full
art.
art.
Exactly.
People like aesthetic.
Yeah.
And this is Wizards giving them their aesthetic.
Yeah.
So you can have your regular deck and go to F&M and regular tournaments all the time, and you can bling it out.
Yeah.
But there's no barrier to playing the game.
And that's
which
one
I
thing-
am a proponent for.
Yeah, and as Commander players, we have an internal format. I want to have the best looking card I possibly can. Actually, Eric, I think you actually did it. In fact, you actually traded for a card that you already had, but it was in foil.
Yep.
Yeah. Why do we do that? Because it just looks better.
I traded my mobilization with Pope for a foil mobilization.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pope.
Yep.
That's just how it works. We like shiny things. We're Commander players. So
With the collector booster pack, is the foil guaranteed, or is there just a chance for it like there was in the regular packs?
I believe the foil is. I think it is also a chance, but it might be a guarantee as well.
Okay.
But I'm
But
not
at least we
entirely
know
sure.
we're getting the alternate art.
Yes, that's the thing. Everything in there is going to be alternate arts and different.
Even the lands?
Maybe
Or there are
not.
no lands in there.
Maybe not the lands, but
Okay.
so the lands and the promo card probably not. But everything else is going to be different, which is kind of nice.
So,
right.
with this set, Wizards is finally recognizing Brawl as a format. They introduced 4 new legends to head up the Brawl decks. The first legend, which was spoiled some time ago, is Chilean, Teller of Tales. He's 2 and banned. Green, white, and blue. He's a human druid, 2/4. He has Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Tap 3, you pay 3 and tap him, and return target creature you control to its owner's hand.
Return target creature. You can return him. At instant
But he
speed.
doesn't trigger, he doesn't recognize his own enter the battlefield trigger.
No.
So if you cast him, you don't get the draw card, play a land. I'm kind of getting tired of legends that say, do X, draw a card. There have been so many of them. And Chilean's predecessor, Arcades, does this. Now he does this.
Oh yeah.
So now
drawing
when
the
you're
cards
making
the
a
most.
bad deck, it's like, do I want to play walls and draw cards, or do I just want to play creatures and draw cards?
Or even better, I'll just put that in Arcades, because Arcades' problem is, he doesn't really have a drawing card problem. He has a put down more lands a turn problem in order to play more stuff.
You're in green. There's a million things in green that let you do that.
Yeah, but they're not walls.
Yeah.
Get exploration. It's an enchantment.
I mean, Arcades was the most popular Elder Dragon for a reason, because you could play walls.
Yeah.
And the novelty of that really grabbed people. Grabbed me, grabbed you, Aaron. We
Yeah.
both had or have Arcades decks.
Yeah. And then High Alert came out. Oh god, so great.
Yeah.
Brawl was available in our Magic MTG Arena for about a day and a half or so. I was actually lucky enough to play it literally all day. It was terrible. These guys actually didn't get a chance to. He was basically the strongest Brawl deck there, only because they gave him 2 counter spells, a board wipe or so, and he was able to kind of just pop off. However, that's in a Brawl 1v1 format. In Commander, he would just get stomped. He comes out at 5. He's really expensive, and his effect. He's what, 2/2 or something like that?
This is 2/4.
Yeah,
with vigilance, but I can't imagine
He's
you
never
ever going to
attacking.
attack him.
Yeah, why would you attack with him?
If you
Oh
have an
yeah, I'm
open
just
board.
going to use my 2/4 to attack. That's going to get blocked by everything.
My
Yeah.
combo piece. Like, he's a combo commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
He's
definitely
bad
is.
good stuff, which is fine if that's what you like. I just find it boring.
The fact also too that kind of like Eric said, it's not an ETB, it's a cast trigger. So anything that cheats out stuff won't count.
No Quicksilver Amulet.
Yeah.
No Elvish Piper.
Although Aloran will work because Aloran says cast, if I'm correct.
What's good about that, though, is even if you counter... If someone counters your creature, you still get that effect.
Yeah, because it's a cast trigger. I just like the
And-
fact that you get to draw a card and then put in a land. So if you don't currently have the land in hand, you can draw into that land, put that land down. It's ramping at the very least. Enter RJ's Rant Corner.
Oh, see, you know, this was my favorite one from looking at the Brawl pre-cons, but it royally pissed me off right now. Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. Not gonna read anything else yet. Let's just go through this. Sir Gwyn.
And it's a woman, though.
It's a woman.
All right, so
okay,
before-
Flaming Sword.
So before-
Named Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. Dad has a flaming sword. It's Dark Souls. It's just a rip-off of Dark Souls.
And Arthurian Legends. So, Gwen.
Yes. Freaking oof. Ashvale, really?
Why don't you want a Dark Souls deck?
I so want a Dark Soul. I'm so building this deck.
Yeah.
But still, like, could you be any more on the nose?
But the question is, what else does it do?
Oh, it has effects. Yeah, my bad.
And a CFC, which you didn't read.
Who cares? It's 3 Mardu, or 3 red, white, and black. Legendary creature, human knight. It's 5/5 with vigilance and menace. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. And equipments you control have equipped knight 0.
Yet another commander that, when you do X, draw a card. At least this is stapled onto
Losing.
more interesting effects.
Yeah, and equipments you control have equipped knight 0. What?
All right, so
Yep.
let's go in order, I guess, of appearance. So first off, whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, draw a card, lose a life. That's basically like Underworld Connections on a dude, which is kind of nice. There's not that many equipments that you can like. Yeah, there's equipment you can swing around different people and stuff in that sense, but for the most part, you're only gonna have maybe like 1 or 2 things actually equipped at a time, so you're not losing like all your life, which is kind of nice. And then, as a person that runs a Voltron deck, Equipped 0 is the best thing in the literal known universe.
Oh,
It
I'm
is.
so looking forward to this
You
deck.
can, it's gross. It's gonna be gross. She's in red, which means you can play a bunch of. Is she in black too?
Yes, she's Mardu.
She's Mardu.
Which means
Black,
you can.
white, red.
Yep, which means you can play the what's a stupid Crano plating, Binding Blade. Oh god, you can play Binding. Oh god, you can play Binding
Blade. She has
Luckily,
menace.
luckily, he's not a knight.
He's not a knight.
When he flips over, he's a demon. He's not a knight. But there's
I play. Shoot, I'm thinking of the one in blue. Is there anything that changes all creature types? Conspiracy in
What's-
black turns all your creatures into one
Yes.
creature type.
yeah, but isn't that for a turn or is that an enchantment?
It's an enchantment.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, good shit. That's
It's. I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
called
no!
conspiracy.
Yeah.
it'll be up on screen, but I mean, equipped for 0 is gross. Like, gross.
Colossus Hammer. I'm gonna
Colossus
hit
Hammer.
you with my
All the
big
swords
hammer.
of.
So the cool thing about Sir Gwen is that I feel like, granted, Knights didn't really need a tribal leader from the gate, but now they
Yes, they
officially
did.
Yes,
There's
they
no-
did. They didn't have one
They didn't have
before.
a
Did they not
Legendary
have
Knight.
one?
Not really one.
Morphon.
Or Fiona.
Everyone keeps bringing up Morphon, and everyone's like, "Oh, we need a captain. Use Morphon." He's not. I don't count him as anything.
He is
don't.
everything.
He's
Which is-
everything you want him to be. And
He
more.
is not though. Anyway, yeah.
I mean,
so
I'm sure there were commanders that made knights or did something to knights, but they didn't care about them the way Sir Gwyn does.
No one cared about the knight.
so now it's Knights. Knight Tribal is actually a thing now, which is going to be kind of cool actually. And I could definitely see you running a Knight Tribal deck because you're.
I have a friend named Larry who I met at the college, who has a Knight Tribal deck, and I'll probably take some pointers off of him.
Yeah, and he's probably excited about this card as well. One card that I feel like I'm not particularly excited about, but I'm going to read it anyway, is Corvald Fey Cursed King. It is 2 and Jund, black, red, green. For legendary creature Dragon Noble, he's a 4/4. And he has flying. And also states, whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. And whenever you sack a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on him and draw a card. So your fetch lands officially draw you cards now.
Was it the third Brawl commander that's do X, draw a card?
I hate to bring out spoilers,
So
but
here's the
spoiler
thing,
alert, they
though.
all do that.
All the best
Actually, she
commanders
doesn't.
draw cards. Like literally in general, all the really big commanders will draw you a card. Gitrog draws cards.
I personally, unlike the first two, I feel like he is definitely. Yes, he draws you cards too, but his effect alone that you have to sacrifice a permanent in order to draw a card, that kind of gives you an accidental diminishing returns. Because, I mean, when we were playing the Brawl deck online, a lot of people just basically sacrificing their lands because that's something you can kind of sacrifice. But also, too, Evolving Wilds, that's a sacrifice on it. All your fetch lands, they sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're drawing
Is it
cards.
whenever you sacrifice a permanent, you draw
Yes.
a card and do... Oh.
Yes.
Play Fleshbag or Merciless Executioner or...
Both of them are these colors. Or
The,
even if your opponent tells you to sacrifice
Playcrafter.
something. Yeah. I'm against your Eldrazi deck. That has a bunch of Annihilator stuff. Those are all sacking permanents.
Yeah. So you don't have to... Wait, is that an optional?
No, it is not optional.
Ooh.
So when he attacks, you sack a permanent. Period.
I sacrifice him.
That counts. When he
You would
enters,
draw a card off his
you
deck.
would draw a card off his deck. When he enters the battlefield, sack a permanent. Period. When a permanent becomes sacked, when you sack a permanent, he gets +1/+1 counter, and you have to draw a card. These are non-optional. There are no maze in this, so it can be a downside of just drawing your entire deck by accident. You're not in Labman colors, and then that happens. I like it just because sacking stuff isn't really an archetype that people go into too often. That's not that's not
Orzhov
just,
is mostly known...
yeah, but we're sacking creatures,
Yeah.
and your creatures. We're more sacking creatures. This can sack anything.
Well, aristocrats are the ones who are known for sacrificing.
Yeah.
Well, creatures.
Yeah, but this is in different. This is in Jund
Anything.
colors. It's in anything. I don't know. It's a cool little build around for the
You
most
can
part.
steal your opponent's stuff and sacrifice them, act of treason and all that.
You are in red. That could definitely work.
Jund Thief deck. Ugh.
Psionic Resonator, play Insurrection. Let's swing with him, activate Psionic Resonator, sacrifice 2 of your opponent's This is all situational.
It is all situational, but we're already building a deck around it because it definitely seems like something that he seems decent. I actually kind of like him.
You're definitely going to want to play Call the Dreadhorde. It's 1 and a black enchantment. Each turn during your upkeep, you lose life and amass 1.
Yeah, this way you can actually the Call of Journey was actually inside of the Brawl deck that was on Arena, which is kind of nice. So this way they had something to sacrifice whenever he came in. But it's one of those things that in the Brawl format he was basically the weakest only because he is a lot to come down for starters. I think you have to sack something once it comes down, so you're kind of thinking, do I want to put it down now? I don't have anything to sacrifice that's decent. I'm sacrificing my lands, which makes it worse. Like in Brawl, he's not the greatest. In Commander, I feel like Pembroke can actually be really, really crazy with him.
Also play that the fairy one that makes a 1/1 fairy every turn. Bitter Blossom, yes.
Which is totally going to go into this next deck.
So we've got the last Brawl commander, Alayla Artful Provocateur. 1 in Esper, the cheapest legend by far.
She is.
She's a 2/3 fairy warlock. Flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0. And whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with fairy, with flying, which might as well be a 2/1.
So once again, we're gonna go just in order. Flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. Just let that sink in.
Flying,
Death Touch, Lifelink.
Still don't see it as that great.
So she's gonna...
She's a vampire.
fly
Nighthawk.
over most anything. Anything she does fly into has to risk blocking her and dying.
Yep.
And when she does connect, you gain 2 life or more, depending on if you pump her.
Exactly. Other creatures you control have, with flying, get +1/+0, which means it doesn't actually pump
So
herself.
she's a flying lord.
Basically, and what's more important, whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment,
Flying.
yeah, right. Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment, you get a 1/1 fairy. How often do we just accidentally put down Soul Ring into Signet or something in that sense?
Yeah, but that's turn 1 move. She's a turn 4 card.
True, but let's say that you.
I know where you were going.
She's not in ramp
Yeah.
colors.
She's not in ramp colors, but
Artifact or enchantment?
yes, Heuristic Study works. Propaganda works. Note to Procession works. Ghostly Prison works with this. Bitter Blossoms, because she's in black, that works with this.
Yeah.
You also those are fairies, and they're also flying.
Would you do hers like a Voltron-y build?
Oh, you can
No.
play that, the Angel.
Yeah, pay a white.
Tap 4
take 4
flying creatures. Pay a white, and
Yeah.
you cast her, and all
She was-
other flying creatures
given indestructible. Yeah, she was inside the Brawl deck as well, which was amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
They put her in there because that made sense.
Wow, Wizards, you know how to make a pre-con deck. That's...
There is the 1 in the blue, or maybe 2 in the blue, enchantment that says all flying creatures get +1/+1. That's an enchantment.
What?
Yeah.
How much does this cost?
It's like 2 in the blue or something.
That's cheap.
Yeah, it's like a common. It's not, or it's an uncommon. It's one of those. It's up on screen right now.
So this is go wide and go tall, because all your fairies is going to be buff AF.
Yeah, one thing I do recommend, because a lot of
all
people
your fairies are now bears.
Yeah, right. A lot of people were actually saying, "Oh, well, why don't we just build like a Voltron deck?" I don't recommend that, mainly because
what about her makes Voltron?
she doesn't. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people were saying because like whenever you cast an artifact, you can then equip it, and then boom, like you get a fairy with it. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you can make a kind of enchantment tribal with it. My theory is this. It's a go-wide token strategy that just accidentally might run into some Voltron good stuff. Like you're basically kind of building it like a Cheerio style deck where just
Yeah,
a
I was
bunch of
just about to say that.
Like put down like the Mox Amber that's a 0 drop. Like put down a bunch of other 0 drops or like very
By
low
Rexian
stuff.
Walker that apparently Aaron didn't know about.
Mox Tantalite.
No, actually, I'm wrong. I was thinking of somebody else.
Yeah. What is it? Ornithopter.
Yeah.
It's an artifact and it's a flyer.
Yes.
So Ornithopter can actually attack and kill someone now.
And Urza in here, because why not?
I don't recommend putting Urza in because Urza needs to be
You're
built
slapping a target
around
on your face.
That.
No, it doesn't. You can have Urza
Yeah, but
supplement your artifacts.
To use them
not...
to its fullest potential, though, you need a bunch of artifacts.
Yeah.
There is a dragon, which is on screen right now. It was in the Brawl deck. I don't remember its name. It was huge, though. It was like 4 in blue, and it's like for like 6/6. And it says tap 2 untapped artifacts, and then draw a card. That goes in here.
Is that the one that has hexproof as long as you control an amount of artifacts?
3 of them, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that goes in here. Because it's in the air, which means it's already getting bumped. With your other flyers or whatever, it's already getting bumped with all those. And you get to tap those artifacts that you're not using, the Cheerio ones, the accents or whatever, to then make other stuff. So Smiling Type is going in this deck because you're creating treasures just because.
Yeah.
And you also get a fairy when Smiling Type comes in.
When you cast. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it has to be
So the
cast.
treasure generation doesn't actually make more fairies.
No, but the
She's
cool
not a
thing
fairy.
is, she comes out at 4 or earlier, and like Eric said, out of all of these 4, she's the cheapest one. So there's a good chance you're going to drop her early. You're creating a bunch of treasures, something that's where to then replay her. It's great. It's absolutely amazing. I love her to death. I'm already calling dibs.
So are we going to be doing what
Even
we
though
did with the last precons?
Even though she makes fairies, she doesn't specifically care about them. So you could do other things. You could put Zur in here.
I mean, I was thinking more of just making it a flying tribal token-based strategy type deal.
Flying Esper tribal?
Basically.
That sounds good.
Yeah. And plus you're in Esper, so like, you've got Demonic, you've got a bunch of other things, you got Cyclrift, you've got swords, you've got you're in the perfect colors to just do some fun shenanigans. It's just fun, beat you in the face with a billion fairies shenanigans.
All right, my favorite part of hearing all this, I didn't care about Throne of Eldraine, the brawls kind of bored me, but the future sets, I am so excited for. The next 4 sets that we're getting are wicked. I'm going to start with my favorite, the first one coming up, Theros Beyond Dead. We're going back to Theros, baby!
Which means we're potentially getting back
Gods.
Gods A, which Eric's not too happy about.
I hope they reprint all of them. I hope God packs are a thing again.
Oh, all right. So now that we know about the collector packs for the God sense, if they're probably going to make collector versions of the gods, those I would get. Just full arts or just like extended borders like Athros, some of that sense. Oh, that'd be amazing.
It's gonna suck.
Probably
that the
going
gods
to
are
be
gonna
alternate version. Well, the same cards, but different effects.
Yeah.
Because you can't have Perforos in standard. You just can't.
You just can't.
Why not?
There's a mono red goblin deck
Because
going around, which is terrifying.
Perforos is broken.
What do you mean? Perforos isn't broken.
Sir, I reiterate, there's a mono red goblin deck going around that's terrifying. I versed that.
Who cares about goblins? We'll just.
I do, because I'm going to verse them. With Perforos, you put Perforos on the field. Boom.
Perforos with half the life total. Ooh. You just gotta throw out a couple guys and their
even
life
that.
total starts ticking down quickly.
There's an Orzhov Taste of Karloff deck. I'm going to splash red just for Perforos. You're dead.
Mardu.
Dead.
You're dead, son.
One thing that we all kind of are thinking about, and everyone that knows anything about Magic's lore is thinking about, is Elspeth.
And Gideon.
No one cares about Gideon.
Let's not talk
Elspeth.
about
I care about Gideon.
Screw Gideon and screw you.
He's dead. Let him rest.
Let him
Gideon
die.
is coming back, baby. Everyone's favorite white knight.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I refer our other white knight of Elspeth, mainly because we haven't seen Elspeth in
A long
ages.
time. Yeah.
Since we were back in Theros.
Exactly. So it's
Which
really
is kind of funny because her card's actually been reprinted a couple times.
Well, yeah, but that's just reprints. I would be really, really nice to actually see Elspeth again. RJ thinks she's going to be white-black. I'm thinking she's just going to stay
I'm thinking
white.
come back from the dead. She's black magic Elspeth.
I agree with.
Wait,
RJ
you saying
here.
mono black
I
Elspeth?
think-
No, black magic Elspeth. She's gonna
Orzhov.
have black magic. She's gonna be Orzhov.
Yeah, I agree with RJ's assessment.
Theros is going to be really cool because we get Elspeth back. I'm not... If
beyond dead.
people are thinking, like Eric, that they're going to bring back Gideon because he technically was Kithian, who was born on Theros, I am like most of the other people. They're saying, don't do that.
Oh, I agree with you
Because
wholeheartedly.
it would, as a story perspective, it would ruin the out of the story. It just would.
I know it would, but how many stories bring back their heroes?
That's true, but
So many to
How
count.
many
He's
of them
not a
have been,
hero. He
How
was
many
a-
of them have been good?
He is a
he
hero.
was the butt of
Oh, he's
everyone's
definitely a
joke,
hero.
dude. He's a hero now because he sacrificed himself. But you bring him back after the sacrifice, he's nothing.
After that, we're going to a new plane that we've never seen before. Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoths.
Mark Rosewater has actually gone on record and said that basically with this plane, we're able to create our own monsters because it's a monster-themed thing.
What does that even mean?
We don't know because it's Mark. He can get kind of weird and wonky. Consider the fact that
Cryptic.
and very cryptic. I mean, he did mention the fact that it's not going to be like the augment mechanic from the Unstepped. People are thinking meld. People are thinking some type of fusion.
I imagine there's going to be like a base thing, and then there's all these little attachments. Big tentacle, small tentacle, big hook, little hook.
So like something like a weird Voltron-y style.
Yeah,
Like
like
thing?
enchantment or
Enchantments
artifact?
or,
Except
like,
the creatures
have them chomped
transform.
down.
Well, here's the thing.
meld,
We're going
build.
with Theros first. And the cool thing about Theros is that a lot of people have like bestow and stuff like that. So maybe they're going some bestow mechanics into this newer thing with the monsters.
Yeah.
Could actually potentially work. One thing that I'm excited about is that it is the lair of the behemoth. All right, so what's a behemoth that everyone knows and fears?
Lazotep behemoth.
The hippo?
The hippo?
Space hippo!
I mean, I guess it's...
I mean, yeah,
Coming
he's pretty...
through your walls.
Anyway, the real behemoth is Craterhuff.
Who the hell's that?
Everyone's
favorite
favorite game ender.
Everyone's favorite game ender. So there are actually a lot of behemoths. Some of them are on screen right now that we know about. The fact that we're going to this other set that's last name is Behemoth. Now, we could be reading way too much into this, but I don't think we are. Because there's only like 29-ish behemoths, maybe like 20-ish. Maybe they could actually give us a set of just all behemoths. The downside of this is that the set's going to be mostly green. The upside, which is also
it
a
doesn't have to be.
No.
They'll make
Those
it.
sets
Yeah,
are
but-
generally balanced across
You-
all 5 colors.
true,
so
but think about it this way. You're assuming behemoth, you're assuming big, stompy creature. That's
Yeah.
not really a white thing. That's not really a red thing.
War
could make it a
Behemoth
thing.
from Khans of Tarkir.
I'm not saying that they
And
don't
that-
have
that-
behemoths.
no,
I'm just saying there's
that
not
doesn't
that many.
necessarily mean the set's going to be lousy with behemoths.
That's
it could
true.
just be one in each color.
Or it could be something like
Could be psycho behemoths.
I was thinking more or less like a Khans of Tarkir or whatever, where it's like, you know, the people that are fighting the behemoths, the people that are the behemoths, like kind of like dragons versus Khans or something in that sense.
That could be interesting, but
They've done that though, like you said, with Khans and dragons.
you said Mark mentioned monster builder. Is it like Frankenstein's monster or
That's a good theory that I didn't consider. I don't know. He just said you can build your own monsters, ... next topic.
You draw your own
Oh,
creature on the
okay.
card, you make your own stats.
So there's no concrete information.
There's no concrete information, but once again, it's not supposed to be because this is in like quarter 2 of
Yeah, this
after
is like
everything else.
6 months.
Exactly,
from now,
6
even
months
longer.
plus. So he probably knows what's fully going on, but he doesn't want to spoil anything else. One thing he did actually tell us is that the next, after the Monster Realm, is going to be Core Set 2021, which no one really cares about, but most notably, he did mention it's going to be focused around Teferi.
Boo.
Now that we got that out of our system,
Teferi.
so I I kind of like what they're doing. Not the fact that it's Teferi. I like the fact that like each core set is focused around one particular Planeswalker now. That's kind of cool. Like before it was Chandra, now it's Teferi. Hopefully next would be like, something that's actually important.
Like Gideon.
They're going to bring back Gideon and make him the lead of a core set. Yeah.
Yep. Make him the best boy.
The best. Let's talk about the real set coming out.
The one set that I'm actually really, really excited about is Zendikar Rising. For one main reasoning.
Fetch lands.
Oracle of Moldiah.
I'm going to just give you... Alright, so let's just go with the Wheel of Fortune real quick. Okay, so the letter on there starts with N, ends with Nahiri. Okay. She's coming back. It's going to be great. Most people have actually kind of questioned because after War of Spark, it just basically stated the fact that she was fighting Sorin, and then they just kind of just...
And they got over it somehow.
They got over it because Nicol Bolas was the bigger bad at the time.
They got over for all of like 10 minutes to like punch Nicol Bolas a couple of times, and they were just like, alright, cool, where were we? Oh, right. So it's kind of nice to see where she is in her storyline. Plus, hopefully, they can actually reprint Stoneforge Mystic in this set. This is her plane.
Putting her in standard?
Yeah, but what artifacts do they have?
Oh, you're right, though. The reason why Stoneforge Mystic is brutal isn't because Stoneforge Mystic on her own. It's because...
she can grab any equipment.
It's the swords. But if there are no swords to grab, and you... Well, by that time, Colossus Hammer will be gone. Gwen will probably...
no, the hammers... Wasn't the hammer part of
Corset 2020.
No, it's...
Was it 2020? I thought it was on the horizon.
No, it's 2020.
Okay. Well, even
so by the time the new Zendikar comes out, if Stoneforge Mystic is reprinted, then all the problematic equipment will be rotated out, and new problematic equipment will be made up.
All the new swords!
I'm just hoping the fact that they actually reprint her because she's very, very expensive at this point, and that'll be nice. Plus, we get to see Zendikar again. Mark Rozo actually did mention the fact of this is not going to be Eldrazi focused like the last one was. We're actually going to see more of Zendikar. So that's nice. That it's not an Eldrazi set.
I guess rebuilding after
the shenanigans.
Yeah.
Plus, also too, maybe it's a time skip type deal because think about it, like our time isn't the time in the world of Magic. It's a whole entire thing, which we're really, really excited about. But we're also really excited about, and I'm pretty sure you guys are after this hour-long conversation, which is going to be Last Call!
Last Call! You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Alright, so final thoughts and a question to the people at home listening is, what do you think about all the stuff that we just talked about?
Are you excited for Theros?
Are you not excited for the Teferi sets?
Do you hate the Gwyn ripoff?
Can we talk about my new favorite commander that's an Esper?
Do you find the Brawl commanders as boring as I do?
Do you really find them as boring? Like,
yes, I find the idea of, I'm just going to do a thing and draw a card.
Oh no, the most powerful thing that can be
boring.
done.
I don't know. I dig it. I like it. There was a bunch of stuff that we have to talk about today. Sorry about that, guys. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Let us know how we're doing.
Let us know how we're actually doing.
Thank you for watching the episode of the Planeswalker Pub, and make sure to subscribe for new episodes every week, and subscribe to our Twitter,
which is currently on screen right now. Thank you to our subscribers, which are currently seeing on screen right now. It's a new thing that we actually started doing, just to kind of give a shout out to all the newer guys that are just joining us. So thank you.
And hit the notification bell, and like our videos.
Take it easy, guys.